Hello.
Hey, Pants. It's been years.
I know. I feel like we need to apologize to our loyal viewers.
We had a brief, not so brief hiatus.
Well,
Um,
we were planning to record this episode and I got COVID. And so I felt okay. I mean, I felt
oh,
okay.
I
Yeah.
knew you were sick, but I didn't know you tested positive for COVID.
Oh, tested positive. Uh, I
You
know
had,
my COVID symptoms, which is I feel fine and I can't stop coughing.
oh, so you didn't take a test.
Nah.
I know my COVID symptoms too.
I mean, I don't know. It's funny because people still ask, or like you did, right? They're sort of like, "Oh, you definitely tested," and I'm like, as far as I know, the protocol is now the same, right? Like, if you have symptoms, you don't go to work or you wear a mask, and
I always test. I don't know why. I think for me, I'm like, work then definitely will have to not complain about rescheduling things for
right.
me. But
Well, I will stay home if I don't feel well, no matter what. So to me, it doesn't even matter.
yeah, well, and I have not had not I did go out of town. I got asked to be in my friend's wedding. I'm the maid of honor.
Ooh, that's fun.
Oh, it is.
So this happened already?
I got asked. So I had plans to go to Minneapolis to visit my girlfriend. She asked me to go wedding dress shopping, which I knew I was going to be in her wedding, and like a bridesmaid. But then what's funny is that so she was like, "Do you want to have some wine?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, that sounds good." And came back out, and there was a bottle that said, I don't think I even read it. It was. And I was like, oh, that looks like a cute bottle of, it was like rosé, like sparkling rosé or something. I was like, oh, that looks super cute. I'm grabbing a glass, and then her and her fiance were looking at me in a really odd way that made me have to assess what's happening here right now. And then I looked at the bottle, and it said, "Will you be my like maid of honor or something?" And on the bottle. And I felt really bad. And I am not, I think we have probably talked about this before. I am not good with surprises. If I am taken off guard, I will always disappoint the person who's excited to surprise me in whatever way.
Because you don't give them the reaction that they want?
No, I feel like I have to perform, and then I start to feel really anxious about that. And so then I'm like, wow, thank you. Thanks. And then it's just, and I'm excited. It doesn't mean I'm not excited, but it's like I don't want people looking at me, really, is what it is. I'm like, I'm awkward and uncomfortable when I am surprised. I am very excited about it, but yeah, I was.
I guess I'm surprised. This will come up in this episode. Maybe I'm poor, or maybe I would have thought it was even an LDS thing, right? Because being LDS, the way we did weddings wasn't very mainstream. That might be changing. I'm not sure. Or maybe it's because I was poor. I don't know. But there's just so many little nuanced, culturally-ish things that feel odd to me. So I have like judgments, right? Like that's like asking somebody to prom. I didn't know that there had to be it's like gender reveal parties and everything. It's like everything has to have an event and a gift and a cute thing. That's funny to me.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is,
That's
so
nice.
she's very um yeah, she likes doing that, and she cares about like the details of things, and I am not detail oriented. And so part of I think the maid of honor is you plan like and coordinate with everyone and organize
Hmm.
bachelorette party. And like our mutual friend that we went to grad school with that was very crafty and organized, she was the maid of or matron of honor for her sister, and she like posted all these pictures of like these cute gift bags that had names and everything. I was like, is that what I'm supposed to do? Not good at stuff like that.
Maybe.
So I gotta figure that out. But
It's funny. I was one of my best friends. What do you call the maid of honor when it's a dude?
it was like man of honor.
I
No,
was
it's
the man of honor.
best man.
No, I was the best man. And my thought was, we were Mormon boys, and so we were probably gonna like eat at Hooters and then play video games or something, or whatever it was. That was going to be the extent, right? There wasn't going to be a stripper, there wasn't going to be booze, there wasn't going to be a huge party. I didn't know his friends. I was new in town. And so I kept asking him what he wanted to do. And I do that anyway, right? I'm like, what do you want to do? I'll defer to anyone. But his now wife like was mad at me because I wasn't like planning the party and doing all of this stuff. And I'm like, this is my first rodeo. And also I don't know his friends. I have to ask him what he wants to do. And I would have just been like, a pseudo bachelor party, which would have been something like Hooters, like the closest thing to strippers would have been, like, ooh, this is exciting. So anyway, I feel like I failed. And then what I feel really bad about was at his wedding, best man gives a speech.
Yeah.
Uh, and this is totally a Mormon culture thing, right? Like you bear testimony, you give prayers, no preparation. You just go up and you like say whatever thing. And maybe some people prepare, but like the idea is like you let the spirit move you. And
Uh-huh.
so coming from that culture, I didn't prepare a speech. I just stood up and said whatever came to mind. And it wasn't good. His best man speech was like kind of lame.
Oh.
So I feel bad. When my son was born and we had a baby blessing, I wrote one and I kind of memorized it. And I was like, I'm not doing that anymore. The spirit can move me beforehand and I will I'll write what I want to say.
And inspire you.
Yeah.
I feel like most of those speeches are lame though. Like, I mean, yeah, I feel like there are a few people that like walk away and they're like, that was like in terms of the best man, maid of honor, that was an amazing speech. Like it's I mean, I do know what not to like. I feel like people don't love like the montage of inside jokes between that person and the
Hmm.
bride or groom because no one is in on those jokes. But other than that, they're all kind of
Well, I've been to some weddings where at least it felt moving and it felt personalized. And
well, that's good. That's more than what the weddings I've been to. It's not been.
I think that I could have really done quite a performance. I could have really had a monologue.
Yes, I
It was a
agree with that.
wasted opportunity. I've not been a best man since.
Oh,
But I married you, and
I was
so
gonna say, I was gonna
I
say
planned that.
it didn't end well, but yes, you did. You did a great job. You really did do a very good job with that.
Yeah, sorry it didn't stick.
Well, the second round, maybe.
I don't
We'll try
take
again, round two.
I don't take responsibility for that.
No, nor should you.
Well, your mother loved it
No,
so much
either.
she literally wanted the same ceremony for her wedding if she were ever to marry. Do you remember her saying that to me?
I don't remember
He
that.
said to me, I think you were there, but maybe not. She was like, if I'm ever to marry again, I would love for the same ceremony, the same speech to be given at my wedding. Like, I'll send you a copy.
She is your at least if not number one, number two fan. Maybe there's someone else out there that is your number one. My mother is your number two fan. She loves you.
Well, I've held on to it just in case.
Well, she is randomly will text me. I feel like once every couple of months and say, you really need to do a podcast with Andrew. And I just haven't told her that I am. I'm like,
That's a
yeah.
good idea.
She's like, I just think that would be such a great listen. And I'm like, yeah, that's it. Yeah, I'll think about it.
Well, speaking of
So,
podcasts,
yeah, yes.
I'm feeling very feisty. I watched episode 7 again last night. I was very angry at having to watch these women.
This was not the most interesting episode, I thought, but
Well, I walked away a hater. I as we
of
go
every
on
of the show, of what? Hater of
of
what?
everyone. In fact, I walked away about halfway through. I turned to my partner and I was like, the only person in this episode that I can even stand right now is Macy's husband, and it's because he hasn't spoken. And then he does say one thing, and I think it's hilarious. So I'm like, still on board with Macy's husband.
I would agree with I don't know if I had as strong of a reaction, but I was like, okay, okay, okay. So I'm already like ready to move past this, but here we are. Like I think hopefully we have a lot of good things to say.
We do. I mean, I have opinions, and most of them are irritable.
I'm here for it. So this is the Book of Gratitude. It starts off at the last day of their girls' trip in Arizona, right?
Yeah, they've been to the pickleball tournament,
They went out to the club,
the
danced,
club.
had fun, had a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm getting old, so I say things like that. So they're doing I thought this was kind of funny. It was their last day. They're all in matching outfits, and I just sort of think it's funny how they have the cameras set up so that they're doing their individual videos, but like right next to each other. And then sometimes they'll like team up with another person, then they'll come together as a group, but they're all in their matching outfits. And Whitney's over there like a lot of like dance moves and which is probably why they asked her to be Dancing with the Stars. She's on that.
Oh,
I
oh.
don't watch that show. Do you?
No, I never have, but I understand it's been popular. I don't know. I don't hear much about it anymore.
Yeah. But so I thought that was kind of funny.
This was my first, like, I just initially got annoyed. And I've said this before. I think I'm just whether it's jealousy or some other judgment that's a little more valid, I do
Yeah.
think that I get annoyed at the content they're creating. I was watching a little bit of it, and there's a lot of like, they do like lip dubs to either songs or
That
pieces,
is
but they
common.
don't even match up with the words very carefully. I would be so embarrassed to post something if the lips didn't match the thing I was lip syncing to. And they're just posting it like they don't care. And I'm like, I can't even believe this is making them rich and that they think they're doing something in the world.
I was curious how they come up with those ideas. Like that, and we've talked about they always show like when a scene is focused on one of the main players, they'll show a TikTok video of that person leading into that scene. You know how that's sort of weaved throughout the episodes.
Hmm.
Um, so it's like this is going to be about Taylor and Dakota. They'll show a brief, video of Taylor.
Hmm.
I was wondering how they get these ideas. Where do they get these ideas from? And when Taylor was trying to convince the other ladies to do a specific dance, that Macy was like, "That's too complicated." She's like, "That's not complicated."
It's
It
two
looked like
moves.
it's two moves. It looked like she was referencing to an existing video. So I know that there are trends, right, where there's a song and everyone does that dance to the same dance, the same song. I don't know. I just was curious about where their ideas come from because I agree that clearly it's resonating with their audience.
Yeah.
Clearly, we're not their audience.
Well, I've said this before, my algorithm sends me what I guess are thirst traps, and I know that's probably revealing, right? Like the male gaze lays long enough that my algorithm's like, "Oh, more of this, you want this." And I'm like, "I'm not I don't want this, but there's more
Here
of
we
this."
are.
But it's all bad, and I'll see the same trend, and it's not really like more, it's just like which body do you want to see doing some of these? And I guess that's sort of what's happening sometimes. Like I want to see these bodies doing this trend, and it doesn't feel like art to me. I want to criticize it from that point of view, but I guess if this is the what you want to see.
Have you seen the video? Because again, this is like a trend where two people are doing the dance to the Chicago song. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
Mm-mm.
The gun, whatever song that is, I can't think of. But there's this whole like
They both
dance.
reached for the gun.
Yeah, yeah. And I really want it every time I see it. So that's what my algorithm now just feeds me over and over these like, duos doing this routine. And every time I see it, I'm like, I really want to learn that. So that's what mine
Well,
is. Of
if we lived in the same place, I guarantee that I would be pushing to do something per episode. Ironically,
course, of
look at
course.
these people, and then I would want to do it with you.
Oh my gosh, maybe next time we'll plan something when we can finally record in person, which would be so much fun.
Yes, and I have no problems being a total hypocrite.
Yeah, no, same.
Coming from a religious background, it's just all part of it.
It's just yes, well, I'll join you on that.
When they showed this one where Layla is doing like, when you realize your 5'2" bestie has to go to the North Pole to help Santa, and they filmed Jesse looking really small. I'm like, this is so stupid.
It really is. I don't know. It didn't interest me, but I'm sure the content that shows up on my algorithm wouldn't interest any of them either. So,
Yeah.
like this is
Anyway,
lame.
yeah. It does make me wonder though, is somebody writing these? Or is somebody stealing them? Is it a mix of both?
What's happening?
Are they
Yeah.
just asking AI what the trends are? I'm not sure.
hmm
Yeah.
hmm Well, during this scene, Whitney asks to rejoin Mom Talk. They jokingly say we need to take a vote, but Jessie said she thinks that there should be some like I don't remember the language she used, but
She's like,
official.
if somebody voluntarily leaves, there should be, yeah, some kind of initiation process.
Yes. And the only person well, two people raised their hand, right? It was Taylor and Miranda.
I don't know if
I don't
Miranda
even
got a
remember.
vote, but yes, notably Taylor votes
She's not in.
yes.
That's right. She's not in Mom Talk yet. So,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, Taylor raised her hand and said everyone deserves a second chance.
Which, good for her.
Stand. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is funny though. Even Macy is sort of like, I'm reading the vibe. The word that keeps coming up, and I know I've commented on this in a past episode, but Macy says it like 3 times in this episode because there's contention. And that's this LDS word. There's contention.
Oh, really?
Hmm. There's a scripture that says contention is of the devil, and it's from the Book of Mormon. And so just the word contention, obviously it's just a word, right? Contention, but
Right.
it's in the Mormon glossary. And so it's funny that they keep using it.
Hmm.
Because of contention in the group, maybe my vote is no for now.
Sorry.
Which is funny because Whitney is the one who proposes the vote, and she's like, I said it jokingly, like, oh, we got a vote, but am I back in? Does this mean I'm back in because I was on this trip? And they're basically like, no.
No, no. In fact, we all will tell you why. They went around and said why they did not raise their hand, which I thought was sort of unnecessary. Like, but
But most of it was loyalty to Michaela and
yeah.
Michaela's feelings.
Hmm.
What I think is funny though is like, what does it mean to be in Mom Talk? You're here, you're on the show, and you're
You're
doing
wearing the
videos with them. Like,
identical outfits in it. Exactly. That is the question that I really want answered. And I feel like we have raised versions of the same question in past episodes where what does this mean? Is it like a formal company where you are like listed as an employee? What is this?
yeah,
What is this? Because yeah, you're doing the group videos. You're wearing the same outfits. People are joining your videos. I'm just not understanding what that means to be in Mom Talk.
yeah, you're on the show.
Miranda's happy she didn't ask for the vote. After
Right.
watching,
Seeing how it went for Whitney,
she's like, I'm glad I did not. Also, that would have been really awkward if they said yes and no to Whitney. But yeah.
I wrote Michaela is like, and then I drew the surprised emoji.
Yes.
I guess she was surprised.
The next scene is Jesse and Demi wrapping presents.
Well, first they receive Amazon boxes and they say, I love Amazon.
I was like, is this a plug for Amazon Prime? They're like, Amazon Prime is the best. Packages come so quickly.
I know. So maybe we should try that. If Jeffrey Bezos is listening, I also enjoy the speed of Amazon and the way that it has virtually destroyed the retail industry.
Yeah. I almost have a problem from using Amazon Prime as much as I do
I should see a psychologist about this.
to work through that issue.
Please visit psychologyforhumans.com to see how I can help.
Yes, they did. I did note that too. I remember that. Yeah. Well, so Jessie says Utah gets into the homemaking aspect of holidays. She starts planning in August. I really wanted to hear your thoughts on this. I feel like that there was a trad wife theme throughout this whole episode.
Macy brings it up a few times.
And then talking about, I think like part of that image of a trad wife is also like the homemaking aspect. Like you make holidays special and everything sort of homemade and you try to make it nice. But so I was curious what you thought about the also what month is this? Do we even know what time of year this is? She does say she starts planning in August, but well, it
Maybe
must
it's
be
August.
November, right? Because they're doing
Oh
like a
yeah,
Thanksgiving thing. So
Friendsgiving, yeah.
okay. Yeah, because they also had Halloween stuff in earlier episodes. Yeah.
I don't know if it's any, I mean, so the I don't love the trad wife idea, but I guess it does fit because all the way up until the 80s, the president of the church, whose name was Ezra Taft Benson, very specifically said something like women should prioritize being mothers and being in the home and shouldn't work outside of the home unless they absolutely need to. And my mother always took a little bit of issue with that because she always had a job the whole time I was growing up. And it wasn't that we absolutely needed the money, but she wanted to be comfortable enough to be, to be able to do holidays and stuff the way that she wanted. She liked having a little spending money. And so she just felt like it was fine. And she felt like her role as a mother was no more diminished just because she happened to work. But it was out there, right? Like this idea. And so I don't know how, obviously, I can't know what pressure women actually felt to be a trad wife in that context, but certainly it was spoken, and I'm sure there were certain pressures that folks felt. As far as the homemaking part or the crafty part, like I wasn't hearing about like Martha Stewart and everything, I don't know how much different it would be from any other sort of culture who
Right.
has time and money to spend.
Yeah.
But for sure, I think that there's a lot of activities in the church. The church is very busy, keeps you very busy with activities. And so some activities would be making things, and there's always like, I don't know, opportunities to do that. So I don't know. I really can't say if being crafty is actually a Mormon staple or not. But again, I think that if you had more money, I think having more money across the board probably is more of that. Like you can go to Michael's, and if you
I
have money, you probably get all of that stuff. It's more fun.
Yeah. This scene, there wasn't really much other than Demi does revisit her fertility struggles and talks about how she wants to have a baby with Brett. She wants to go through all of that, the process of, learning that you're pregnant and labor delivery and all that stuff.
Yeah, I found the specifics about Brett's varicose vein strangling his semen to be a bit graphic.
Yes, yes. Uh,
And Jesse's the and Jesse saying, okay, so like if you get his, his semen under control, or if you get his varicose vein handled and you're endometriosis, then you still can't get pregnant. Like then like whose fault is it? Or
I know.
something.
I had a problem with that question.
Like you're getting a little ahead of yourself to ask the wrong question like way in advance. Like you're prepping for the wrong question really early.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Whose fault is it?
Who's the
Who's
problem?
the problem? Who's the problem? I was like, okay, that's not how that works, but fine. Like that's
More
uh
tests and then we'll really get the culprit.
yeah, I didn't love that question. But she does say, Brett should have sex with Layla so that she can carry their baby because she is having orgasms now.
Yes. It wasn't quite the reveal that I expected, but glad to hear it. Good for
But
Layla.
you go, Layla.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I know all of that was funny. It is funny because I think on the one hand, it does highlight that fertility issues, or even just like wanting children and not having them in the time that you want them, is really painful for people. I
Mhm.
think I think probably for many women, but especially within the LDS culture, I think there can be this added thing because of what I just said, where it's like the woman's highest calling is motherhood, and it is so emphasized that I can't help but to wonder like what it means. Well, I don't have to wonder actually. I've talked to people. I know what it means when they can't fulfill that role that to them is like the purpose of their existence.
Mm.
I think Demi is pretty progressive, and so like despite all of that, it's still difficult when you want children and you're not able to have them.
Yeah, there can be a lot of grief there.
Yeah.
Those-
But it is interesting to think. I mean, I'm sure it was semi-jokingly, but they sure seemed okay with like direct delivery for Layla to be a surrogate if that's what they want to do. And not to comment on people's bodies, but is Layla really the right vessel? She's so frail. I feel bad. I shouldn't comment on anyone's body, but she's
But
very she's very she's very thin.
yes. Yes, she is. She
Yeah.
is. And all of them have, well, not all of them, but it seems like the majority have had breast implants, which I like this episode. I felt like in particular, every time Layla was on the screen, I just was like, oh man.
I know, and I really want to check myself. Like I don't want to comment on people's bodies and I don't want to even have an opinion. Like people should do what they want.
Yeah.
And I just have to like wonder if she's doing okay. And she's like got these cartoonish breasts compared to the rest of her body.
Hmm.
And it felt starkly noticeable to me. But,
Hmm.
I can get over that. I should get over that because people have different body types and she could be perfectly healthy for all I know.
Hmm. Hmm. I'm all for people if you want to do plastic surgery, you do you.
Do
Like
it. Yeah.
I might do it. I don't know. I don't know.
Why
But
not?
I have thought about it that I think I would not love the idea that there is a foreign object in my body. I think
Mm,
that concept feels weird, but also there are circumstances where I think I would consider that. Like I think there are different circumstances where I would maybe consider it, and I totally support other people that want to do that too. But
sure.
but I did think, like kind of going back to like the male gaze and who are we doing this for? And I do think that there is an element of like, I'm doing this for me. But then I think that's also worth exploring too. Like for me, for what? For me, so like I feel more attractive, like amongst other men. And
Sure.
I don't, it's just
And
worth
that's okay too. I know. There's Millie Bobby Brown who plays Eleven on Stranger Things. I guess recently she's done two things, which is she's adopted a child or is going to adopt a child.
Mhm,
And then she also did an underwear ad. And I don't know why those two things were in the same article or together, but she took some pictures of her in underwear, which
mhm,
I mean, as far as underwear goes, I thought was like relatively not super sensual or sexual as underwear goes, right? Like it was like underwear. And comments were like quite toxic. Oh, they all objectify themselves eventually and that sort of thing. And I
mm,
and so I really want to balance like what it means to like feel good about yourself and feel good about your body. And
yeah.
yes, that's going to be informed by, of course, social standards and like we're all in, what we think looks good is subjective anyway. So I really want to be clear that like I'm trying to be as supportive as possible, but I'm also like noticing when I have judgments or concerns or something. And I don't know, it all shows up.
Well, and alternatively, Pamela Anderson, if she's
Hmm.
not been wearing makeup, like on the red carpet or in interviews. I think she went on Watch What Happens Live, which I
Hmm.
love,
Hmm.
and not
Yeah.
wearing makeup, she looks great. And she was talking about that. And I was reading comments, and they were so nasty, like the comments about
Yeah.
her not wearing makeup. I love that she's doing that. I also think I'm wearing makeup now. I will probably wear makeup until the day I die. But also like so that's fine. But I love if you choose to like, I don't want to do that. And but just the hate that she has been receiving, at least in the comments some of the comments I read,
Yeah.
um, just
Well,
it was disturbing to me.
it's disheartening. I remember seeing a little study that they did. Well, actually, I don't know if it was a study or if it was more like a social experiment just posted online, but some women who wore makeup regularly went without makeup for a week or something. And then women who didn't wear makeup regularly wore makeup for a week. And there was an interesting, actually, sort of like equalized expression where people reacted to the change. That was the biggest finding was when you really changed the way you look. So if you went from no makeup to makeup or from makeup to no makeup, people felt off or they had sort of like a reaction that was sort of like, oh, that's weird or different or strange or something. So I don't know, negative reaction, I guess, or at least sort of a some kind of reaction. And that was the
Mhm.
biggest finding. But there was slightly more positivity toward the one who went from no makeup to makeup.
Mm.
And I just think, like we're human beings without makeup. And so if a woman wants to choose to not shave and not wear makeup, the
Mhm.
idea that that's not feminine or not acceptable or whatever, it's
Yeah,
like this is just like a human being showing up in their natural state. And if we can't handle that, that's an odd thing I think to that we should reflect on.
I feel like that's a problem. If you can't handle the choices of others in terms of how they want to, yeah, present.
Yeah. And Pamela Anderson does look different. The first time I saw her, it was sort of like, oh my gosh, like I had the like, she looks older and different. Like I had this sort of thing, like the thing that makeup does as a tool was changed.
Yeah.
And immediately I felt all this like respect and appreciation where she was like, I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm like, you go, girl, which
You
I
go,
don't say very
Pamela.
often and will never say again. I felt really good about.
I also wonder if like we saw her out at the grocery store. If I mean, I think something about being on camera with the lights, like the way things are,
True.
it's different in terms of like being washed out. Like, if you have like professional, any professional like photography or you're on film, you have to like go really heavy with the makeup anyway.
Hmm.
And so I feel like maybe there's just also an added layer. She looks more washed out without makeup, that whereas in person you might not even really notice it a ton,
That's
I
that's
don't know.
true. I heard Stephen Colbert and Conan O'Brien having a conversation where they both sort of said like the worst part about our job is makeup every day
Oh.
because they're doing the show, the daily late show or whatever it is.
Mhm.
So yeah, you're right. That's true. I hadn't thought of that too. We're seeing Pamela Anderson without makeup, under lights, on
Yes,
camera.
yes. Hmm.
Anyway,
Okay, so back to our favorite show.
love it. This again. We're at Dakota's Airbnb.
Yeah, I noticed that. Dakota's Airbnb. I was wondering, I was like, how much does he have a job? Do we know?
I don't know. And I have just been watching Succession and Veep and Sirens and White Lotus, and I am so over wealthy people that I'm very judgmental at the moment. But I was like, he probably has like a trust fund or somebody's just paying his way because I can't picture Dakota working in a job that earns enough to pay
I don't
for.
think he talked about it. I would assume he would talk about it. And yeah, I was like, how much is he paying for this Airbnb that he's just living in indefinitely? Like, do we know?
Must be nice.
Is that wise to do an Airbnb? Like, should we be looking at a rental? I don't know.
Yeah.
So,
But yes,
but
Dakota's Airbnb that looks like it's like on this tract of undeveloped land or something. I'm curious where it is, but Salt Lake
well,
somewhere.
she sounded surprised when he was like, there's a store nearby. And she's like, there is? There's a store nearby?
That's
So we
what
can get wipes?
that's what drew my attention to it. Is like you're not just out here in the burbs.
Yeah.
This whole
Yeah.
scene is frustrating because it feels like a continuation of everything they've talked about. We're co-parenting now, and then they're like, "Are you still sleeping together?" Yeah, like all the time. And she's calling him Babe or Dakota, and he's like, "I love you. I mean, bye." And he's like, Anything else you need while you're here?" Which I think was like not very coded code for like, "Do you want to have sex before you go?" It's all messy.
I'm a little over this. I
I,
agree.
I think
I wrote
everyone on the show is.
yes. So I think we can move past this.
Well, I thought it was funny that when they showed Dakota, first of all, poor guy, I guess I'll just keep commenting on people's appearance. He looks exhausted in his in his
Good.
one-on-one interviews. And
Yeah.
and he is parenting as a single dad at times, right? And so he probably is exhausted. He's probably not sleeping. They probably filmed it right after a day of little sleep. So,
No, actually, I think I could be wrong on this. I think I remember that Taylor said because Ever, their baby, is so young that she drops him off during the day, but he comes back to her to sleep at night. And I thought I
oh,
remembered her saying that,
hmm,
but I don't quote me on that. I could be wrong.
maybe, yeah, because of feeding and everything. But so when Dakota's on camera, he's listed as Taylor's baby daddy. And I get that that's funny, but I also felt like it's a little offensive.
It is. It is. It is the father of, although, but I guess if you're trying to be brief and not have a full sentence, the father of Ever, like what is a Ever's dad? Like that Ever's not like a
I guess so. Like Taylor's, it's a show
Taylor
about Taylor,
X,
and
the
so he's an
father of their
accessory.
child. Like I don't know.
Yeah,
I
no, it's
agree.
true.
I think it's offensive too.
If it were a show about everybody, he should just be Dakota. But I guess since it's a show about the women, then Dakota's an accessory to her, and that's his role, is the father of her child. But he's not like a deadbeat dad, you know. That's why I felt like that. I was like, I feel like baby's daddy is a little dismissive, especially when she's still sleeping with him. But whatever.
Yeah, which we will revisit at the Friendsgiving because I have thoughts about this. So,
Okay. But yeah,
okay.
that's it. So they drop him off. Dakota doesn't have wipes because Taylor's mom took him. And I will say this, Taylor offers Dakota two of the four horsemen of the apocalypse, according to John Gottman's bad for relationship stuff, which they're not in a relationship, but who cares? But she criticizes him lightly, and then she rolls her eyes at him, which is contempt. So that's not nice.
No.
But I'm sure anybody would say, like, well, when you're dropping your baby off and he doesn't have wipes, then you want to roll your eyes at him. So it's fine.
Yeah, I agree. Love John Gottman. Well, so the next scene, Layla is getting her hair done with Demi. She talks about fighting with Cam. He thinks she's
Right.
pushing him away. Layla's tired of going to events alone.
I'm telling you, I called this when they outed Cam's drug use, or no, not drug use. He didn't want to do drugs because he was the bishop's son. In an early episode, they talked
Oh,
about how they were having sex, and I was like, that is actually really bold. His family doesn't know, and they might be broken up. And then a few episodes later, they're like, we split up, and I'm like, it's too bad.
mhm.
Too bad, Cam.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, she's having and they meet up later. So they briefly talk about that and then they switch the conversation to talk about Taylor and Demi says she felt disdain from Taylor.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, because Taylor said something about her marriage in the fourth truth box thing or
yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
And Demi said she's not sure if it's rooted from what Taylor heard about Demi, where Demi thinks she's better than everyone and deserves more. But then Demi goes, but I think she is triggered by my success, which I thought was really funny. Like, maybe do you think she's upset with me and shows disdain because she heard that rumor that I think I deserve more, but maybe she's just triggered by all of my success. Like, it just, like, okay,
Or
well,
maybe.
maybe it's not a rumor. Just say.
Maybe it's just that attitude.
It's just that kind of falls under that same category. But then Layla thinks Taylor will never admit that. But then they start, yeah, so then Demi goes on and on about her on and on. That's not fair to say. She goes on to say that her relationship with Brett is as healthy as can be. And I just sort of feel like, and this comes up later, doth protest too much. Like if I have to keep saying it's so healthy, honestly, like there's never been a healthier relationship than mine, that makes me feel like that's not true. Like there's No, I mean, no, everyone has problems. So like that, like there is no perfect relationship.
Yeah.
But if I hear someone that is like, no, we are so good, we are better than good, we are the best. Like it's just it makes
Yeah.
me question a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't really care what's going on in their relationship, to be quite honest, but
I care so
um,
little.
care so little, not at all. But the show cares, so we're here to
Yeah.
comment on that.
Well, what I think is funny, I liked Demi last season also. So,
Yeah.
her fan favorite, but
Yes.
man, did it go to her head and change my opinion of her because she is being like really unlikable this season, in my opinion. Layla is talking about, I thought this was funny too. Layla's talking about whether or not Jen will come. And Demi immediately is sort of like, oh, I'm not sure if that would be a good idea because blah, 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 blah. And I thought it was funny because Layla put in the box Jen's fake for whatever reason, but then she's the one who's sort of like, I want us all to be there. And Demi's like, I don't know, there might be a lot of drama if that happens. And Layla says, I know, drama just follows this group. And I'm like, or is it the other way around?
It's the other
Does
way
this
around.
group create drama?
Yeah.
But Layla seemed open to having there, and Demi was being sort of nasty about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then the next scene is, you're right, this is a boring episode.
It's a
The
very
car
boring.
wash.
Which honestly, I'm also afraid of the car wash. Like I like did it did resonate with me. I will not go in a car wash because I'm like the pressure. I mean, similarly to like me at the beginning saying like I'm not good with surprises. If they're like you got to line up. I did it once and you have to line up, put neutral. Well, I didn't take the automatic windshield wiper thing off. I didn't know how to do it. And so then it's like going, I'm like, oh my God, they're gonna get ripped off like when everything rubbing my car and then the whole too you get someone that's like this way this way this way this way this way this way and I'm like I can't I'm so sorry.
I I think I have too many anxious friends because I find myself complaining about people's anxiety basically to their faces.
Yes.
Because I'm looking at this and I'm like, how ridiculous to be afraid of the car wash. And my partner's like, well, when you already have anxiety and you got to do it right. And I'm like, "Shit." And now you're saying this, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's just a car wash.
I fully acknowledge that it's just a car wash. I don't talk openly about this. I am now,
You
but
should
I
be
practice
embarrassed.
myself as one should. I just and you just never go. I'm just out there with a bucket of soap with my car in the driveway. Like that's my
That's your
solution.
workaround. That's perfect.
When I have patients that are like, I mean, I'm still feeling anxious. I'm like, join the club. Yeah, everyone is. And not everyone, but a lot of people. You got to manage it. How do you manage it? Like, is this worth me pushing through my anxiety because I really need to do this? No. I'll just fill up that bucket with soap and scrub myself. I'm fine with that.
Honestly, you save money that way. It's really smart in two ways.
Exactly. But there are situations where I'm anxious and I'm like, this is also something that's really important that I need to do. So, you whip out your tools, you do it, it's fine. But then there are other things where you're like, values. Is this high up on my value list? No. So I'm not going to do it.
Well, yes, and to be empathic with you, I feel like if you screw something up at the car wash, there's two consequences. One is you could damage your
It's
car,
your
which
whole
is
car.
very expensive. Yes, and so that is a huge risk.
Yes.
And it is. You have to like drive in that thing. And, maybe this is like a guy thing or something, but like I know where my wheels are, but not everybody knows where their wheels are. So like I find it very easy. I could hit a cup in a road, if I saw it with my wheels. I know where my wheels are. And so it doesn't intimidate me, but I understand that's not, I don't know. Not everybody knows where their wheels are.
I'm constantly running over curbs.
But the second one is just like embarrassment. And that's the one I sort of feel like I can't empathize with very well because it's sort of like, when you show up late and it's like, oh my gosh, everybody's going to watch me walk in. And I'm very much like, so like, I'll walk in and be like, hello, sorry
Wait,
I'm late. So in
that,
this case, the guy has to come over and correct you, but he's
mm,
nice about it. He's sort of just like being helpful. So I don't understand the fear of that. But she was sort of like mortified by the fact that he had to come and help. It was like everything that could go wrong went wrong in Michaela's mind.
yeah. On Friday, I took my 5-year-old to school for kindergarten, and we're walking, so we park and we walk and she's going, there's something in my shoe. There's something pointy. And I'm like, okay. And so I like stop, we like take her shoe off, I like dump, shake her shoe, put her, I feel inside, don't feel anything, put her shoe back on. We're walking and she's like, there's still something in my shoe. And we're stopping at sort of like a crosswalk. And so we're on the sidewalk though. So I try to like move to the corner. So I'm like, okay, there's nothing. I think it might be in your sock. So I'm taking her sock off. I'm like flipping it off and people are walking around and I'm like not taking up the whole sidewalk. But I'm also not trying to spread ourselves out on someone's lawn. So I'm like somewhere in between. And my daughter goes, why are people staring at us, Mom? People are staring at us. And I was like, it's probably because we're in the middle of the sidewalk. It's fine. It's fine. And she's like, I don't like that. I don't like that people are staring. I was like, I know. I'm sorry.
She knows what's up.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Yeah.
very real. What I think
Weird.
is funny though is they say they were going through the car wash for her child to like enjoy the car wash, and she slept through
Well,
the whole thing.
I don't know if it was unclear to me because it sounded like she's like, well, I'm doing this because I think she said because my daughter really likes it. But also I imagine because she felt like her car needed to be cleaned. And so
Probably.
like, but also like we might as well do it now because I have my daughter and like also this is something to film. I don't know. I don't know. I was confused. But yeah.
And her daddy's like, "Mommy's scared of a car wash," and then asleep.
Yeah. But they do talk about the Great Mormon Bake-Off that's coming, right?
They do, and it's Whitney's idea. She sends a text. I have an idea for Layla's Friendsgiving. So for somebody else's event, I have an idea that we could do the Great Mormon Bake Off. It is a good idea. And Layla later says she's actually excited about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think good old fashioned healthy competition in this way is a lot of fun for people. I'm a fan.
Yeah. I
Um,
like Whitney says it later. I like that she's like, and it's kind of like a different take on the British Bake Off. And I'm like, it's exactly.
yeah. Yes, I was like, is it not an exact takeoff of the British Bake
I
Off?
was
Yeah.
loosely inspired by this totally different thing.
Who called the Great Mormon Bake Off?
Oh, what's that
Using
going to
the
be?
same music.
Oh, baking. So
No.
stupid.
Yeah. But so they argue, well, yeah, the argument is, did Whitney use Macy's starter?
Of sourdough.
Macy taught Whitney everything, but later Whitney said she taught Macy. Anyway,
I
so
didn't know this about sourdough. I didn't know that you have to have a starter. Like apparently we're all making the same sourdough since like Egyptian times or something, and they're just passing it down.
I
And
did
if we
not.
ever lose the thread, sourdough's just gone from the earth. I don't understand how it works.
I don't either. I don't
Well,
bake sourdough.
sounds like it's very important. And it is funny because, well, I guess I shouldn't comment because I don't know how it works. But when Whitney's like, I make a great sourdough, and Macy's like, that was from my starter. I'm like, does that matter? Is it like a strain of marijuana where like it's a, it's somehow like very special? Like, what does
People
that
want
mean?
credit. Yeah, they want credit. Like, yes, this is from Macy's start. I don't know.
Like, if
I
I give you an envelope of tomato seeds and you grow tomatoes, am I like, those are my tomato? Like, like, I did nothing but give you seeds? I don't know.
but if you gave me a bunch of tomatoes and other, vegetables from your garden and I made salsa. And I'm like, this is homemade salsa. Like, well, that from my garden. The ingredients are from my garden. Maybe that's more of the equivalent.
Yeah, okay, I guess.
I mean, I don't know. I don't
But even then, do you, whatever.
I don't know. Did I tell you that I submitted a cookie recipe for the Indiana State Fair baking
You
competition?
did not tell me that. Look
I
at
did.
you.
Chocolate chips. I did not win, but I got an honorable mention ribbon at
No.
for my chocolate chip cookies. Yes, it was
Wow. So you
monumental.
invented this recipe?
No, I took it. And here's the thing. So because I did it with Sharon Bowman and Lauren Cunningham. Like we
Oh,
all it was my idea, but I was like, we should all, because we all talk about baking, like we should submit this. We'll leave it up to Sharon, who, for our audience, is an old professor of ours. So she knows all. She is brilliant and wonderful.
yes.
Um, and
The
so
wisdom.
the wisdom, leave it up to our old professor, previous professor, to tell us to send in a group text. These are the steps we have to do to submit like 2 days before. So I like the day before, it was a work day for me, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I have to type up this recipe that I got from a book." And so I'm like texting them, I'm like, "Is it plagiarism? Like, do I like I'm just recipe? I just made it from a baking book." And so everyone's like, "Just like vary up the language, like change up." So I'm like, I submitted it. It's from another baking book. It's not my own recipe that I copied. And I tried to change it up a little bit. And I was like,
Stir stir counterclockwise with a bamboo spoon.
yes. But I did get an honorable mention, so that was cool.
Well, that's not very impressive to me because it wasn't your recipe.
Point is, who comes up with their how many homemade chocolate chip cookies are so basic? Like what is the ratios all have to be kind of similar to make a good
You
chocolate
would
chip
assume.
cookie. So what is like an authentic original recipe? I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. The secret is ground vanilla bean shells or something. So
I did
strange.
brown the butter. I did brown butter chocolate
Oh,
chip.
oh.
Again, from a book. I didn't come up with that. So, but I executed it well. So, anyway, we can move on.
This is a big diversion, but I was trying to explain to my son and make it funny the story of when Dr. Bowman invited us to the caffeine crawl, which sadly was before I was drinking coffee, so I really couldn't even appreciate it at all. It was
You
just
did,
like, ugh,
you
it's all
did,
bitter.
you did drink it. Yeah, yeah.
I totally drank it, but it was us and I can't remember the name of the other professor who's newer.
Dr. Kim?
Kim, yep,
Yeah.
Dr. Kim. And we're in the back seat, and somebody mentions bananas, and you said, Nanners? And I went, I felt like I needed to critique you. Not like that. You're embarrassing us.
Stop it. Hyped up on caffeine. You cannot blame me. I was.
Nanners. I was just like, I'm not with her.
Yes, you are. You're Shandy. You're
That's right.
literally with me.
Inextricably Shandy. Well,
Nanner. Anyway,
then me
back to
and
you.
Brett go to the cake store.
I think it's the most we've ever talked about ourselves. Not the episode. It says a lot. Okay, but back to the episode. Demi is at with Brett at a shop where you can buy, I don't know, like baking
Confection stuff. I don't know.
accessories.
But it's funny because she wants to make a better than, it's supposed to be better than sex, but they call it something
Better than what cake?
better than what cake. Okay, yeah, cute. And so the salesperson, I love it. She's like, over here. And she supplies them with a bag of like edible penises.
Are they hard?
Sprinkles.
They're so hard.
Sprinkles. Hard penises sprinkled on the cake.
Yes. Yes. But we're
This
not going to be better than sex cake. It's still better than what? But we will just spread all those penis sprinkles throughout the cake.
this is what I should have served at my friend's bachelor party.
Yes.
Yes, I wasn't thinking, obviously.
Well, I don't think on a traditional bachelor party people want unless, you know,
Wh-
marry a
uh,
man. I think a lot of people don't want like penis
that's
everywhere.
true. My partner and I did not have bachelor or bachelorette parties. We had a pre-sex party. We made flyers with like clip art of like whips and
Oh,
handcuffs stuff. And so
really?
we had a joint gender pre-sex party. I don't remember what we did other than that, but that's what we did for our
I like it.
bachelor equivalent. We threw our own party.
Well, I didn't have a party because I
Hmm.
was pregnant. So,
Woo!
um, yeah. So they do this. I think the most interesting part of this episode, or this, honestly, maybe this episode was this part where Brett and Demi, to me, in my opinion, talk about the issue and the rumor from the Sunday Sinner confessional or Sinner Sundays confessional. Brett is frustrated with the anonymous tip, quote unquote. Um, but then also, fun fact, Brett's sister is married to Larry King. I was like, okay.
Yeah, pretty interesting. I thought I don't know how I felt about this. I mean, first of all, I love that Brett's in here like built like John Cena, but dressed like David Archuleta in his skinny jeans, and
Yeah.
he's he's talking about the rumors. I don't know. He's saying it pisses me off, an anonymous comment. I care about the optics. And Demi's like, I don't understand why you would care.
Mhm.
And I feel like I would care too. Like people talking bad about you. If somebody was like accusing you of something, I would not like it, but she feels like it's a confession of guilt. So I don't know if I have an opinion on his reaction leading me to believe something about it, but it seems to bother to me. I'm curious what you think about the way he's reacting to it. Do you think it makes him seem guilty, or do you think it's a normal reaction?
So I actually wrote this down. I wanted to get your opinion on that because, like, do you think he's guilt just based on the reaction? I feel like, yeah, that's not a good sign. I to me, but I also do appreciate what you're saying. If it's just in the privacy of your own home, you're not on a TV show versus like everyone's going to be watching this and forming their own opinion. I don't know how that changes things, but I do sort of feel like no, like I feel more confident if someone were like, "What? No, no, that's ridiculous." And then they're like, "Yeah," the other person's like, "Yeah, I mean, I never believed in the first place." Okay, cool. Like, let's not listen to that garbage and move on. It would still bother me a lot. Like, I would be bothered because it feels unjust. Like, right, like you didn't
Yeah,
actually do it. But
like a
I,
drive-by
I
comment.
think it's either so like to me, I was trying to think about like from a psychological standpoint, like that kind of maybe over explaining or over emphasizing is what to me feels like he's doing. Um, and it either feels like out of anxiety and concern that she's going to believe it and feel differently about him,
Right.
or he did it and he's anxious about that. And either way, it's like concern. I mean, to me, I think it's concern about how she will feel, unless it truly is just concern about how other people might view. But I don't know. Like, what does she say? He's an all-star Provo boy. Like, there have been a lot of rumors about him. So we also don't know like their history entirely, like if she has been with him for a while and there have been other rumors about him, maybe his reaction is different from his past reactions to other rumors. Because she mentions,
Mm,
like, I heard you were in rehab or you cheated on your last part, whatever it might be. I don't remember like
hmm.
all that she says. But if she's, I think that people get really like hyper vigilant if there's like a different, if their partner is responding in a very different way than they have in the past, right? Like
That
in the
makes
past,
sense.
you haven't seemed to care about it. Why are you so upset right now? That might raise some red flags. So I think it's a little bit also nuanced to like what is this person's norm for their response in these situations if they've been in similar situations in the past versus how they're acting now. But he also wasn't on a show in the past. So I don't know. But to me, when people get like really like, what? What? No, 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 that didn't happen. That's crazy. Like I think that like it's like an overcorrection that I tend to find harder to it doesn't feel as authentic. So
Mm.
that's what I think. But I'm not but that's not saying I think that that's actually true necessarily, but it doesn't I think it doesn't instill a lot of confidence in the other person. So
Well, here are my thoughts on this. I know that we're not seeing every minute of their lives, although we do get a little bit of a hot mic situation, which I think is funny. But
aha.
from the show's perspective, from an audience viewer's perspective, what I'm seeing is everyone else keeps bringing it up, and that would get irritating. Everyone else keeps bringing it up. She keeps bringing it up. She's the one who brought it up in here, and then is sort of like, why are you so upset about this? And it's like, you keep bringing it up. You know what I mean? And so, like, that piece of like, are you believing this? Are you letting it get to you? That's pissing me off. Like, I could see that being understandable because she is the one who brings it up here. The other thing that I'll say, and again, I've talked about like lie detection books that I've read, but the thing that they emphasize is like you can't tell and not everybody reacts the same way and whatever. There's this story of somebody who had a history of abuse, and then when they were assaulted, they went to the police, and the police didn't believe her because the way she was behaving didn't seem upset enough, and that sort of thing. And so, like, there's different reasons why people react different ways. But in this lie detection literature that I have read, they've also said that often people who have like a really calm response are actually more likely to be lying because the sort of like anger response is more abrupt and can come from the sense of injustice and might mean that it's true, but people will often switch those and read them differently. So ultimately, I'm like, we can't know, and I don't know, but I think I react to her sort of being like, the way that you're acting makes me feel that way. And I'm sort of like, are we sure this isn't just like a reasonable reaction? But I do think what you said is true. I think when you are with somebody and you know their mannerisms, even even subtle differences that you might not be able to articulate, you're probably going to pick up on in some way. So maybe there's something there. But it just all seems so messy. There's no way to know.
Yeah.
And they bring it up again throughout the episode. He's never bringing it up, which could mean him wanting to distance himself and not talk about it, which could be guilty, or it could be sort of like, what is there to bring up? It's not, you know what I mean? Like if Brett is innocent here, I really feel for him in this episode because I watch him being so stoic and careful with his responses because he knows he's being watched, and that
Mhm.
sucks. If he's guilty, who cares, right? But it's interesting because everybody's talking about their infidelity later in this episode too, and he just has to sit there and just be like, "Yep," and it's just so uncomfortable
Mhm.
considering the source, which we've talked about, which is like you're already on this show. People have could have motivations to just drop a bomb, and now they're getting to watch several episodes in which these people are having conversations about this thing that you decided to say. So I
Yeah.
don't know. I really don't know. I don't have an opinion, I guess.
I don't think we can know. I mean, right, like I think all those factors that you described are so true, so valid. And yeah, I I agree. I don't know. I think people aren't always the best at naming exactly what's going on with them. So like there's a difference. Like he's like, I need to find the person. What did he say? I wrote
That
it
is
down.
true. He's like, I want to find them. That feels a little extra.
Take them down or something.
Go
Um
after them, yeah, or something like that.
Yeah, he goes, yeah. I want to know who said that because I want to go after them. It pisses me off. It does. You know, I didn't do that. I would never do that in a million years. That feels like a little excessive. I think that there also should just be some understanding. Like these things, you're on a show. It's going to happen.
Yeah, if you
Like,
have a level of fame, you have to accept
yeah. And
maybe some
if you
rumor.
feed into it, it's going to give it life. So like, let's not give it life. And they're giving it life. And so
Yeah.
I think like the rules are a little bit different when you're on a reality TV show. Um, but I think people aren't really great at naming, like instead of like, I want to find out who did that, I want to go after them versus like, I'm just worried that like if we were to keep getting rumors, that's going to change how you feel about me. That scares me. So like that's what upsets me a lot. And as long as we're
Mhm.
good, that's all I care about. Like people can say whatever they want. Like I feel like that's maybe hitting more at what but he's not exactly saying that. He's like, it's just no, I'm going to go after them. And again, I think it's like let's kind of shed a layer and be a little bit more vulnerable too in this, and but also like having the insight of
Mhm.
what's really going on internally. That's what I think.
Yeah, no, that is really true. I like
Mhm.
that within this conversation, he's sort of like, I don't get why it doesn't bother you. And she's like, I think it's the ketamine.
So I like ketamine therapy. Ah,
Ordered
but
it on Amazon.
it does bother her. I don't think there are any example. I think that bothers her. Like she seems bothered by it.
Mhm.
She doesn't seem unfazed, but
Yeah, because again, she brings it up more than he does on the show.
mhm,
Others bring it up more than she does. Others are bringing it up too. How are the rumors affecting you? And I'm sure she started with just like, they can't be true. They're not true. Everybody else said they can't be true. They're not true. And then
mhm.
everybody, including Taylor later in this episode, keep finding like the exceptions. Could be true. Could be true. And that would bother me as a spouse too. So
Yeah,
it's complicated.
it is. I agree.
You know,
So moving on,
we're
Winnie's
back
work.
to sourdough.
Oh wait, Michaela. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, Michaela's making sourdough. Michaela says in this scene that she's finding it healing to be bitchy and petty. And while I can appreciate how that might feel good, I have some skepticism about it truly being healing. So I don't know. That's Michaela is she was slightly unlikable to me in this episode, even though I love some good snark and I don't like Whitney. But Michaela's leaning into it in a way that I'm not totally loving. So I was very irritated while watching this whole episode. So it could just be me.
I guess too, it feels so okay. You can't help how you feel. You feel what you feel, right? I guess I was like, it seems like her feeling is slightly inflated or disproportionate to also what happened doesn't mean that she shouldn't feel that way. I don't love Whitney either, but I don't know. I was like I just found myself thinking in this episode, like, what actually happened to them? Like, I mean, I get like what Whitney did. I thought what she did to Taylor was worse to me, but she didn't, I know she didn't show up for Michaela. She didn't show up for Macy in the same way that they would expect or want from a good friend. And
Yeah.
so I'm not trying to minimize or diminish that, but I just it seems like maybe we have, right, like if you've spent so long trying to repress any negative emotion or unpleasant feeling, and you're now kind of entertaining, like, I'm going to sit with that feeling and not try to snuff it out. It sometimes I feel like there can be like an overcorrection too, like in that, like the pendulum sort of swings the other way. And now I'm just like really pissed off. And that's why like it's healing to be smart versus like, can we get to sort of like a middle ground where you are assertive and authentic and have healthy boundaries, even if that feels upsetting to people, but in a way that's still, you can still do that in a way that's like respectful to others. And that doesn't have to be mean. And so, what do you think?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I don't think the show showed us what happened between them, and so we're kind of just hearing about
That's
it,
true.
and it's hard to make a judgment. But I do think there's something that happens. I feel it. I go through it all the time, and I notice it, and it's not my best. But I think sometimes when you get mad at somebody and you get to the point where you have to be mad at them and you have to tell them why they're making you mad, there can be this like extra effect where you're like mad about that. And so in order to feel justified about being mad, you stay mad
Yes.
because you want to not think you're overreacting. And it feels like she might be in that place where she's like, I'm so mad and I want to be mad and it feels good to be mad, but it isn't. But like you're saying, like it's sort of maybe from the outside feels like a little bit extra. And I've been that person. I've been the person who's more mad than other people think that I should be. And on the one hand, you can say, sort of say, like, you don't understand how hurt I am. And I think, and that's valid too. You're going to feel how you feel. But basically, where she's saying it's healing, I think that's where I would probably question myself when I do that and question somebody else is, I'm not sure it's healing. I think you're leaning into anger instead of like what would be healing, which is something else.
Yeah.
Not that she has to forgive her or invite her into Montauk, like all of those
Be
things, but
friends
she's,
or mhm.
but the anger, bitchy petty that she's sort of like enjoying right now. um, well, it's like that really early study they did where you punch Bobo the clown, and people thought, oh, going to these what are they called, scream rooms or rec rooms or whatever, where they go and break glass and stuff, and people are like, this gets my aggression out. They've done studies on this, and it increases your aggression, it increases your anger. So it might feel good to break things, but feel good isn't the same as healing. And so I kind of equate it with that possibly.
Getting it. Yeah. Well, I mean, exercise is a good way. So, like, I feel like in the breaking of things or punching of things, it might feel good to have like a release a little bit, but you also can get a release from like a run or like lifting weights or, I mean, any kind of
Journaling.
movement. And
Movement,
I
yes.
think I think movement can release some of that where then afterwards you're like, I feel like the endorphins are going, like I feel more relaxed. I feel like I've let some of that go in a way that's not destructive too. So
Yeah. But I do think that's why people become stubborn, right? Anybody who has a hard time forgiving and they feel stubborn and they double down on it, and if everybody's sort of like, this is just stubbornness, the person has done everything they can to forgive, and you're like, I'm going to be stubborn. I do think there's this feedback loop that people get stuck in, and it is not healing for them. So that's what I'm seeing with Michaela here. Not that again, I'm not a fan of Whitney, so stay mad. I don't care.
same, same. I will say that there are a lot of, I get in my algorithm also with baking, these like really attractive men with the dough and like slapping the dough,
Mm.
like something that has
Smack,
popped up, and I'm like, oh, okay, I guess this is what Instagram thinks I need.
smack those buttons.
Yes. Anyway, just wanted to throw that out there.
That's awesome.
Moving on.
Well, I don't have much to say because I hate everything, but Zach comes over and alludes to skeletons in somebody's closet, and
Oh,
Connor and Whitney try to get it out of him, and he actually says the mature things like, I feel like every time I say stuff it impacts Jen, so I'm not going to, which I can appreciate.
yeah.
But there's a cease and desist by Jesse to do something. I don't know. Do we
No,
care?
by Demi
Oh, by
to Jen.
Demi.
Yeah, Demi is doing, which Winnie then finds that to be suspicious. She's like, I feel like that's odd. Like, if there's nothing to it, why are you doing a cease and desist to someone? It doesn't, and I think it's that doth protest too much. So Demi is upset with, or at least having a reaction to Brett's ongoing like defending of himself. And she's like, I just feel like that's not like you're responding the way a guilty person would respond. But then she's kind of doing the same thing with her friend group by like if you're doing a cease and desist, like stop talking about something,
Mm.
that feels like okay, maybe. And I mean, Whitney responds that way. She's like, that makes me feel like maybe something did happen. Like, why else are we responding to that degree?
Yeah. Layla meets up with Cam over a soda to see if they can mend their fences.
I don't know
It,
if this is my bias, but because I tend to be like more pro female than male. Like I'm like women are right and men are always I fully am aware of this bias. Okay. Like I don't think it's completely wrong, but
I agree with my bias.
yes, I agree with my bias, but I'm aware. But the whole time I was like, oh my gosh, when Cam's like, he doesn't feel like he's treated well and things weren't great. Like she says, thanks for responding to my text. And I was like, oh my gosh, Cam, you don't even deserve a response. Like that was like my initial response, which he's a lovely person. But I'm just, again, observing my judgments, observing my reactions. What did you think?
Well, I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but based on what they said, I think what I took from it was Layla might have been um, drawing him in initially, but then withholding affection or appreciation or something. And I think he said that, did he say she was criticizing him or just not treated well?
He did. He said not treated well, but then I don't remember if he said it or if she acknowledged, like if she was the one who said, but someone said that he had been criticized. Yeah.
Well, either way, I think something that can happen, that does happen, is it's related to like our attachment styles. And I think that when people come out of a relationship and they recognize things that were not good in the relationship and they recognize the ways that they were changing their behavior to accommodate a not good thing in a relationship, then in future relationships or future dating or whatever, they're really hyper vigilant around those things. And so, depending on what it is, a person could take out on the next person something that doesn't necessarily belong to them. But I don't know the details, so I'm not sure. And Layla seems to think that has something to do with it, like something about the way that she was healing from her past relationships was affecting the way that she was or was not showing up for Cam. But I don't know. They didn't really, delineate kind of what the behaviors were. So I don't know.
Well, and he does say he was also super insecure and stress kind of added to this.
That actually was, I'm glad you said that. That actually was the one takeaway I had. And again, if I'm taking him at face value, he said, I've never been this way in a relationship, and you brought this out in me, or something like that. And I think that really can be true. People can sort of never experience insecurity, and then somebody they're really into does this breadcrumbing or this push or pull or this I like you, I hate you, or whatever, and it can cause so much insecurity that the person who's feeling it is like, who am I? Like, what is wrong with me that I feel so wound up in this? And it could come from a lot of things. It could be like, you're the hottest person I've ever dated. And so the stakes are so high and I'm so invested. And then, you don't love me back. And I feel more insecure than I have in other relationships that I felt okay about ducking out on or something. There could be lots of reasons that aren't anybody's fault. But
Yeah.
I do think it's interesting that people can experience themselves vastly different in one relationship to another based on some dynamics. And the really cruel one is the breadcrumbing, the love bombing followed by like criticism is just devastating for people because they get so hooked and attached and then they get wounded and they don't want to pull away because they've felt this and they want
Yeah.
this and they know this can happen, and it can just make people drag themselves through, way too long of torture.
Yeah. I agree. I think that was very well said.
Thank you. But who knows what actually happened here? So I
True.
don't know.
We don't know.
Don't know.
They didn't really go into detail, so we have no idea. But yes, no, I agree. The next scene's Gavin and Dakota,
Yeah, who's Gavin?
his wise friend.
He is a wise friend. I was cracking up. So I love this that he's like, so this is where I was thinking of you. And I
Uh-huh.
was thinking of like how you talk about the way they edit The very first part of the conversation is, who did you play for? Oh, it was a community college in Washington. And he's like, uh, was your team good at all? And he goes, yeah. And then he keeps showing him misses. He misses every shot he takes. Yeah, we were pretty good. Bong, bong, rim shot.
I noticed that too. I
Funny.
thought that was funny.
It was funny.
Gavin's bringing in the wise words, though, you know?
The wise words that everyone is saying, which is just like, this is going on too long and you need to be stronger and stop having sex if, like you have to cut it off. And everybody thinks that at this point, whether they want the relationship to work or not, everybody knows that they are just too weak to do what they both need to do, which is make a decision.
Gavin is the Greek chorus. Like, and I love that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Gavin was good on camera. I hope he comes back. He was very like non-performative.
I was a fan. Bring Gavin back. So then Friendsgiving.
I thought it was crazy that Dakota lost 40 pounds. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, I don't need to say much. That can be depression. He didn't look like sickly, so like I don't know what to make of that. But
Was the
apparently,
same like from even last season? Or was this just years? Like years, like I lost 40 pounds for health reasons. Like I
well,
wanted to like
he was like, this is like tearing you apart. You've lost weight, and he's like, yeah, I've lost 40 pounds.
this is like muscle mass. He looks the same to me. I mean, other than we talked about he looks tired, but
Yeah, I know, and yeah, so they seem to imply that it's like because of the situation, you're not taking care of yourself and therefore have lost 40 pounds in an unhealthy way. But where he looks okay, I'm not sure. The other part I loved, Gavin drops out, I would die for you, man. And I'm like, bros need more of this kind of love. I would die for you. I'm like, okay, that's one
oh,
way to express affection.
love Gavin.
All right, but
He's my
yeah.
favorite person in this episode.
Yeah, good point. I wasn't counting him when I was saying who I liked. I liked Gavin.
So Layla's Friendsgiving.
She's excited about the Great Mormon Bake-Off, which I'm glad to hear. What do you want to say about this? Do you want to like comment on their presentation? Do you want to talk about the contest itself?
Um, I like Layla made pumpkin pie. Michaela made like four things. She pumpkin pie, cinnamon rolls, sourdough, and I didn't write down the fourth thing.
I love that Michaela specifically says, "It's not my fault I went above and beyond." And I'm like, "It's exactly your fault. You went
It
above
is.
and beyond, but whatever, it's fine."
You did it. Yes. Miranda made coffee cake. I did think Michaela's commentary this scene was very funny. Like the whole like her commenting on everyone's baked goods, I thought was funny. She said with Miranda, like Mormons can't even drink coffee, like with the coffee cake, which I thought that was kind of funny.
You know what's
Um,
funny? I went in Salt Lake City. You can go on a tour of like many things, and one of the things you can tour is Brigham Young, who was the second prophet slash president of the church, and he founded Utah and was the first governor of Utah. You can go to his house. He was also the one who had like 40 wives. You can go to his house, and then you look at the house. And I remember I was a teenager, and they served coffee cake. So it's an LDS tour at Brigham Young's house. They served coffee cake, and I was like, I wouldn't drink it. Or I
it's
wouldn't.
not like they use espresso or anything
I
in it. It's
know.
cinnamon.
I know. It cracked me up. It might not have even had coffee in it. It might have just been like cake you eat with coffee. I don't even know, but I just think it's funny that as a youth, I was like, better not.
Coffee cake is it doesn't have coffee in it. You just drink it. I mean, my understanding, I love coffee cake. I love coffee cake. Um, it's just like a cinnamon sugar crumble on top. But
Yeah, yeah. I missed out. I thought, well, everybody's there were tiny bits of like this like Mormon informed criticisms that came out, which I thought were just kind of hilarious.
they is pumpkin pie. Did they say pumpkin pie is very on brand with like
Yeah.
Mormonism?
I don't know why. Doesn't everybody eat pumpkin pie?
I was like pumpkin. It's Thanksgiving, right? Like pumpkin pie. Everyone has pumpkin. I don't like pumpkin pie, but I like pumpkin flavored stuff. But pumpkin pie, it's like the tech. I don't know, but like everyone, I feel like for the holidays, there's like a pumpkin pie thrown in, whether you like it or not.
Maybe this is a product of growing up in Utah where they kind of think that like they're the center of the universe and they don't realize that other people are doing it too. Like they don't know what's theirs and what's everybody's thing. Like we're the original homemakers. Eat your heart out, Martha Stewart.
That's well, Demi then did her better than what cake with the penises. Didn't she win? Did she win? She won, right?
You're
Yeah, she
jumping
got the.
ahead. There's no big reveal.
Sorry,
I'm just
sorry.
kidding. Yes, she did. She won. because of the penises.
Big hit. Big
Okay,
hit.
all right. So this scene I loved because I dislike Whitney. I loved that they included every one of her outtakes when she was trying to introduce it in a British accent. She
I
kept
like I enjoyed that.
she kept messing up. Oh wait, starting over. And I'm like, "Oh man. They're just making you look like a fool."
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
loved Michaela's what Brett called a little sacrilegious was the like print of Caucasian Jesus on her pie.
I think that was Layla. I don't think that was Michaela. I think that
Was
was
it?
I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I think it was Layla. Because I think but I don't know. Maybe I'm not remembering that. I did love that Taylor bought a pie.
I know it was so funny. She shows her pulling it out of the box. I mean, that's me at any event ever. I can't plan ahead well enough to even make something if I wanted to, let alone make something if I wanted to. So I was really identifying with Taylor in that moment.
Yeah, Michaela got second place. Whitney got third.
That's right. And all she cared about was that she won. Well, let me walk you through the Mormon parts of this,
Yes,
if
please.
you don't mind. So they have
Great.
the CTR shield, which is choose the right.
Mhm.
And I didn't wear it. I could show you. I have a CTR ring. They give it to you. I mean, it's not like official or formal or anything, but often as a child around the age of 8 or so, they'll give you a sort of like a little CTR ring if you want to wear it. And then it became more popular jewelry, and so then you could get nice CTR rings. When I was on my mission in Brazil, one of my friends was a little crazy and a little eccentric. He had like a custom made CTR ring made out of gold with like gemstones in it. And then um, since the jeweler had made the mold or whatever, we could do more. So I got one done in whatever rings are made out of. Maybe probably not real silver. It wasn't super expensive. It was like $100 or whatever. So I have like a custom CTR ring. And one of my
Oh,
girlfriends even made fun of me. I was like, "Oh, you can tell who's Mormon or whatever because I have this giant CTR ring."
no.
So it stands for choose the right. Did I say that? Choose the right is the CTR ring. So it's definitely a Mormon symbol for sure.
What does that mean? Choose the right.
Choose the
I
right.
think they might have explained it, but I don't remember.
No, just do the right. Do the right thing.
Oh,
Choose the
okay.
right. Not yeah.
Oh, okay. Just like
Not
make a
like
good.
politically, although seems like they do. But they also um there's a Mormon hymn, choose the right, and the consequences follow in the light. Blah blah blah. So it's
Huh,
catchphrase. Yeah.
okay. Like make a good decision.
Make a good decision. Choose the right decision. There's
Right.
one. I'm just kidding. It's very black and white. Macy made a Joseph Smith cake complete with like golden plates hidden under a rock that he found. I won't tell that whole story, but you can watch Book of Mormon the musical. They cover it pretty thoroughly.
Okay.
Have you heard
There's
of
a
the great
song about it.
American prophet?
The imprint of Caucasian Jesus I thought was hilarious. They might have
Yes.
called him Hot Jesus or something, which I
Jesus.
thought was so funny. And then penis cake. Oh, there is one in the pumpkin pie. It looks like there's one with the angel Moroni, which is like a statue of a Book of Mormon prophet, later angel that's on the top of many LDS temples, and there's like a temple shape. So they made it Mormon themed as much as they could,
Except for Demi.
except for to me. But I did think this was funny. I mean, I get it, but Macy literally had the comment, "Penises aren't Mormon." And I like the original, and I wrote, "Penises are not Mormon." Hashtag patriarchy is what I wrote in my notes. But
Yes.
yes, Mormons, the first gender neutrals. Penises are not Mormon. There's nothing down there. We just look like Barbie dolls. But then they're sitting around and they start talking about Brett's infidelity in front of him.
Oh, well, they also talk about, I forgot, Taylor talks about her and Dakota.
This is where you can feel some people
Wow.
like, do you think you can ever get past it? Do you think you can ever forget? I think some people are rooting for them at this point. I'm not sure.
Well, I thought the opposite. I thought everyone was rooting against them because they're like, because she says he basically gave me an ultimatum. I either need to commit or split. And
Hmm.
they're like, well, has he even said he's sorry? Has he even acknowledged that like he feels bad? And I was like, I feel like yes. I feel like, and I'm not a Dakota enthusiast necessarily, but like I feel like yes, he has said he feels bad. And so again, it did kind of make me wonder the way they all the way some of them responded to her is if there have been other things that they're just not talking about on camera, that like other arguments or to
Yeah.
make them, because not that I don't think anything that we've seen has been really problematic in terms of like me questioning whether he's sorry or wants a family or wants to work on it, like what do you think?
Yeah. I mean, she's still upset by the I guess the cheating, but honestly, they weren't even together or in love at that point. Um, but there were extensive lies told in the
Mhm.
aftermath, and so that probably is what she also actually can't get over, which is
Yeah.
understandable. Like a lot of deception trying to sort of cover it.
No, I agree. I agree. I think he is trying though to like make things like try not I obviously not successfully, but like I think he
Yeah.
is making an effort. But it's also very fair for her to say, but see, I think that's the problem. She's not no one's like she's not saying I can't trust you, so therefore I can't be physical with you. Like we need to really keep this platonic and focus on co-parenting. Like it's so muddied even when they try to say that they're doing that, which is what we talked about earlier.
Yeah, and it sounds like, I mean, maybe they both are, but it sounds like she's initiating sex at least some of the time anyway. And so that, one of them needs to say no to the other,
Yeah.
and they're not able to do that.
Yeah.
So that, I do think a lot of people stay in not good relationships for good sex, and that's got to be hard to break away from a great thing. But
There probably is like some moments of comfort for both of them that they're both sort of seeking, and then
yeah,
and she, I think, probably also maybe steps back and says, actually, this relationship does not bring me comfort, even if I found comfort in that moment. Because she said something to her mom, like, it feels good to touch someone, like to have that physical contact or, because I think there is comfort there, but not wholly like the comfort that she is wanting from a relationship.
yeah, I mean, sure, like having trust and familiarity within intimacy is something that takes time, and so it's probably hard to give that up also. The comfort of sort of like having that need met by somebody who you kind of know isn't going to be crappy in that moment. But then they talk about so this is what I want to say about the Brett Demi situation, at least that we haven't already said this episode, is the defense that always jumps to the front, which I find sort of like a weird flex, is we're always together. Like
Yes.
they say other things too. We have a great relationship, but often they start with like we're never apart.
Like,
And
how could that even
while
be possible?
yeah, and so like yeah, sure, if you're talking about like an alibi, then that's compelling, but it's kind of a weird flex to me. Like, is that good that you're never ever apart? Like maybe he needs a minute
An
apart.
alibi.
And so they're like, we're only ever apart for 4 minutes. And then Michaela's husband says the one thing he says in the episode, which is he only needs two. And I was like, I'll allow it. I accept. That's
Oh,
fine.
wow. Oh, yeah. Hmm.
But yeah, Brett's just kind of sitting there with his like zero buccal fat, taking it all in while,
Yes.
while they talk about the plausibility of him cheating in this moment being true. It's very uncomfortable.
All while he's present,
Yeah.
eating pumpkin pie
I mean,
or
at least
what?
they're not talking about him behind his back. To me, that might show that they actually sort of think it's probably not true
Yeah.
that they would
I
say that.
I
But
agree.
yeah, yeah, it's
Hmm.
just odd. And then Taylor, again, who like often does the right thing, like voting Whitney in when she didn't have to and stuff like that.
Yeah.
In that moment, she's like, mine turned out to be true. Like, like no filter.
I
Which she
know.
later actually goes to Demi and sort of like, I'm not saying that that's about you and like whatever. Like that's just her without a filter running her own thought process. But not very, not a kind moment to say that if we're really thinking about that.
Not the most helpful.
Yeah, yeah, not helpful. But there's a moment where Taylor kind of breaks down about her and Dakota, and then there's a moment where Connor really breaks down about like his, journey back to trust and stuff like that. So it's in theory quite a vulnerable scene.
Hmm. Yeah. I thought that was sweet what Connor, like his response to Taylor. And I also did think it was nice how everyone seemed to rally around Taylor, like you're not alone, like we're here to support you. But then Connor's take and talking about his relationship with Whitney and how hard it was to kind of rebuild trust, and I thought that was nice to hear.
Yeah. Yeah. Successful Friendsgiving overall, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I am sure looking forward to being done with them, but I have not watched any more episodes. I think from now on there will be things that I've never seen before, so I will see what surprises lie in wait for me.
See, I have seen episode 8 and I took notes on it, but I have not done 9 or 10.
Well, I will look forward to that, and we'll talk next Wednesday.
Okay.